Hi there! You are watching another video lesson in 21st century literature from the Philippines and the world. I am your teacher, Rodney Garcia from Ujawan National High School. Let me be your guide in bringing you fun and learning during this course. How would you like to embark on another literary adventure with me? Before we begin, let us be guided by these reminders. First, observe basic health protocols. Keep your hands clean at all times. Observe social distancing and wear your face mask if needed. Second, get your learning modules, your pen, and paper. Your modules will greatly help along with this video lesson. Third and most important reminder, smile and keep that positive attitude while learning. Let's begin. Our lesson for today is on the 21st century literary genres. In this lesson, we will look into the different genres that gain popularity in today's generation. More importantly, we shall look into the two influential genres that shape the trajectory of fictional writing. In particular, you need to achieve these goals. Identify the literary genres in the 21st century period. Respond to the questions after reading a text to give the characteristics of flash fiction and graphic fiction. Create a graphic fiction or flash fiction, and cite the importance of understanding and writing 21st century literary genres. But first, let me see what you already know about the topic through a knowledge check. I have prepared 5 questions. After listening to the question, pick your answer from the choices inside the box. You are given 5 seconds before the answer is revealed. Of course, you may pause the video if you need more time. Alright, let's start. First question. What do you call the stories which are told in dialogues through social networks? If your answer is text talk novel, then you are correct. Text talk novels use dialogues to tell a story. These dialogues appear like social network exchanges. Second question. What do you call a story that is told by combining books, movies, and an internet website? If your answer is digifiction, then you are right. Digifiction is a literary experience that combines 3 media. This can be a book, a video, and an internet website. Third question. What genre illustrates a lengthy story using images? Of course, you know the answer, and that is graphic novel. A graphic novel is a narrative work in which the story is conveyed to the reader in a comic form. Fourth question. What genre is generally known as comic books and graphic novels that are popularly published in Japan? Did you answer manga? If yes, then you are correct. Manga is an illustrated work published in Japan. Last question. Which genre of fiction tackles issues of young women in the modern society? The answer is chick literature. Chick literature are stories written by women, and these explore contemporary issues like equality, marriage, and career. Let's see how well you performed. If you got 5 points, congratulations! You have extensive knowledge of our topic. If you got 4 and below, that's still a job well done. However, you must pay attention to this lesson. And just like that, we are done with our knowledge check. Before we proceed, here are some reminders.
Alam mo na ba? Ang mental health ay isang mahalagang bahagi ng ating pangkabuuang kalusugan. Walang health kung walang mental health. Ayon nga sa World Health Organization, mental health is a state of well-being in which an individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. Ang mental health ay mahalaga sa ating pangkabuuan at individual na abilidad magtrabaho, mag-isip, makaramdam at mabuhay. Kaya naman ngayong panahon ng pandemya, huwag kalimutang pangalagaan ang ating mental health tulad ng pag-aalaga natin sa ating physical health.
And we are back, literary explorers. We shall now begin exploring the 21st century literary genres. Did you know that technology and modern advancement has shaped our literature? In fact, literature in the 21st century is remarkably different than the classic genres. Before, we only recognized the genres of short story, poetry, and drama. Now, in the 21st century, we have new genres that we can explore, such as digifiction, graphic fiction, text-talk novels, manga, chick literature, textula, and many more. In this video, you will be learning the different structures and features of other two modern literary genres, namely the graphic fiction and flash fiction. Let's view and read this literary piece found on page 6 of your module. The title of this piece is My Freaking Alarm by Demesha Dean. As I lay cozy, all snug in my bed, I enjoy the imagination inside my head. Until I hear a racket beside my bed. It's my 5 o'clock alarm. I quickly silent you, you annoying alarm. Then we snooze together and let the dreams carry on. Enjoying the peace. Then I'll be darned, it's my 5:15 reminder. Now I hush the ringing of my reminder. Okay, alarm, let's put that behind us. Eyes just shut. But here goes the timer. It's 7:20. I'm late. Now that we're done reading, let's answer these questions. Number 1. How does the speaker feel whenever the alarm rings? Right, she feels upset when the alarm rings. Number 2. How did she react when she realized she was already late? Correct, she was very surprised knowing that she's already late. Number 3. Would you react the same way if this happens to you? I bet everybody would also be surprised and upset that they woke up late for school or for work. What do you call the genre of the work you just viewed? The piece you just viewed is called graphic fiction. Graphic fiction, or a graphic novel, is a comic book narrative that is equivalent to the prose novel in terms of form and dimension. The pictures are arranged in sequenced image panels and dialogues are written in speech bubbles. The illustrations allow the readers to imagine and experience the characters and events in the story. Graphic fiction has basic characteristics. First, it contains frames and gutters which imitate the pacing and rhythm of reading. Second, graphic fiction calls a reader's attention visually and spatially to the act, process, and duration of interpretation. Third, graphic narrative does the work of narration through drawing. Fourth, it offers a unique language, the language of comics, that comprises the verbal, the visual, and how these two interact on the page. Some of the examples of graphic novels are the following: In the Shadow of No Tower, 9/11 by Art Spiegelman. We also have The Barn Owl's Wonderscapers by Sarnath Banerjee. In our country, we have popular graphic fictions like Trece by Cacho Baldismo, which follows the suburban adventures of Alexandra Trece as she investigates crimes committed by supernatural creatures. Another local graphic novel is The Mythology Class by Arnold Are, which tells the story of Nicole Lacson as she teams up with Mrs. Encanta against the evil forces of Encantos. Have you encountered other graphic novels? I hope we can share our favorite graphic novels together. Now that we know what graphic fiction is, let's move to another literary piece entitled The Unlucky Winners by Nick Johnson. Are you ready to read the selection? Let's begin. Each morning, Jim walked to the corner mart for a coffee and lottery ticket. He always passed Pete and gave the same reply to the jangling of coins. "Have when I win," Pete invariably responded with a tip of his soiled red hat. When it actually happened, Jim searched everywhere for Pete. After months, his wife finally convinced him to spend the other half, and the home renovations began. The following spring, working in the garden, Jim unearthed a familiar red. While lost in astonishment and horror, the faint smell of her perfume permeated among the roses before darkness. Now that we're done reading, let's answer these questions. Number 1. What is Pete always wearing whenever Jim sees him? Right, Pete is always wearing his signature red hat. Number 2. What was the usual promise of Pete to Jim? Yes, when Pete wins the lottery, half of the prize will go to Jim. Number 3. Who convinced Jim to spend Pete's half of the money for the house renovation? Yes, the wife of Jim convinced him to spend the money on the house renovation. Number 4. What is the familiar red Jim unearthed in the garden? Correct, it was Pete's hat. What do you think happened to Pete in the end? Sad to say, Jim committed a crime against Pete just to get the money. What we just read is an example of a modern genre in 21st century called the flash fiction. Flash fiction is imaginative literature of extreme brevity. It could range from a word to 1,000. It is also known as microstory, postcard fiction, nanotales, and short shorts. According to Sustana, most of the flash fiction have these common characteristics. The first element is brevity. Flash fiction presents the story with fewest words possible. The second element is complete plot. Flash fiction emphasizes the development of plot. It has a beginning, middle, and ending of the story. The third and final element of a flash fiction is surprising ending. The successful hallmark of a flash fiction is its twist at the end of the story. Some flash fiction include Angels and Blueberries by Tara Campbell. Another is Unnecessary Things by Tatiana Tolstaya. Examples of Philippine flash fiction include Isang Daang Kislap by Abdon M. Balde Jr. Another is Karapote Antología dagiti 13 a Suerte a Sarita by Ariel S. Tabag. Now that we are done discussing the two literary genres, let's have a quick break before we answer our two activities.
Para malabanan ang COVID-19, ang kailangan natin ay tama at totoong impormasyon, hindi fake news. Huwag ka agad maniniwala sa nababasa at naririnig. Ang pagkalat ng mga maling paniniwala tungkol sa COVID-19 ay nagdudulot ng panik, takot at maling desisyon. Laging i-double check kung saan nanggaling ang nabasa o narinig. Maging mapanuri at i-share lamang ang tamang impormasyon. Sa wastong pag-iingat, ang virus hindi kakalat. COVID-19, kayang-kaya nating tapusin.
And we're back. I hope you are still with me because it is time to test our comprehension. Go to page 11 of your module and answer Activity 2, Finding the Differences. Your task is to complete the graphic organizers by writing down elements unique to each genre. Ready? Your time starts now. Time's up. Let's see the features of each genre. Here are the features of graphic fiction. You may pause the video to check your answers. If you got a keyword, then you are right. Again, if you got a keyword, then that means you are right. Meanwhile, here are the features of flash fiction. Again, you may pause the video to check your answers. If you got a keyword, then you are on the right track. Again, if you got a keyword, then you are on the right track. Now that we are done with Activity 2, let's go to page 12 and answer Activity 3, Comparing and Contrasting Genres. Previously, you read two stories, My Freaking Alarm and The Unlucky Winners. Let's write at least one similarity and one difference using the Venn diagram. Shall we? What characteristics of the stories make them similar? Yes, both of the genres tell a complete story despite the few illustrations or words. Meanwhile, what characteristics of the stories make them different? Correct! The first story has illustrations. However, the second story uses text. What other similarities and differences can you draw? I'm excited to read your answers once you pass your answer sheets. For our final activity, let's go to page 13 and let's read the instructions for our performance task. After finding out the features of graphic and flash fiction, let's attempt to make one. Your job is to make either a flash fiction or graphic fiction. So, which of the two will you choose? Do you want to write a flash fiction? Or do you want to create a graphic fiction? Here are the criteria for your output. Now, I hope you'll be able to make your performance task and pass it on time. I am encouraging everyone to make your own output. Who knows, your work might get featured in our school paper. Now that the instructions for the final tasks were tackled, we are finally done with today's discussion. Let's check if we achieved our learning goals for the day. First, we identified the literary genres in the 21st century period. We also discovered the characteristics of flash fiction and graphic fiction. Then, you were tasked to create a graphic fiction or flash fiction. And now, to achieve the last goal, try to write a short reflection regarding this question. Why do we need to study new genres of literature? Again, why do we need to study new genres of literature? Okay, studying the emerging genres allow us to be more creative on how we express our ideas. You can expound on this idea further in your answer sheets which will be checked later. Congratulations, my literary explorers! Being with you today is quite a journey. While it is important to study the literature of the past, we must also bear in mind that we need to be grounded on what is present. We need to know how people from around the world express their ideas about the current issues and trends using literature. This is the reason why we need to study our new and present genres of literature. Don't forget to check your weekly home learning plan to be guided on the activities you need to answer. If you have concerns, you already know how to contact me. Till next time, this is your teacher, Rodney Giberson Garcia, saying, if you have the courage to learn new things, you can succeed in anything. Thank you and God bless.